Has been handed over to us. What are you doing to make it a reality? What are you doing to make it a reality? What are you doing? I am asking you, you as a person. You know, I always say it, that in this recognition that we are pursuing, every one of us have a role to play in this recognition. How do you want Biafra to be recognized? How are you representing Biafra? This is a question that you must answer. How are you representing Biafra? How are you representing Biafra? How are you representing Biafra? It is not enough to say, I want freedom, I want freedom. How are you representing Biafra? It's not enough to say, I want recognition. How are you representing on your own side? When somebody looks at you, what will the person see? What will the person see? Mazen Nandekano have represented excellently. You see, every single prophecy of Mazen Nandekano, every declaration he has made, has never been a propaganda. Every revelation that Mazen Nandekano made, even though he was speaking against the enemies, he did not use propaganda. That is the way to go. That is why I tell people, when you see somebody lying or telling unnecessary lies, you don't need to support it because it serves your own purpose. If you want to use propaganda, use a propaganda that is understandable, genuine. I don't know what we learned from Mazen Nandekano. From all the speech of Mazen Nandekano that he made for how many years? Some of those messages last 4 hours. But in all of them, the Nigerian government could not find any single word to indict him. Instead, what we are seeing today is revelations. What you are going to hear today, he said it, Mazen Nandekano said it, Nandekano said it. That is what you hear everywhere. And because he was right. He has always been right. Every single thing he's put forward, he has always been right. It was not just a mere propaganda to tarnish image of somebody. It was not a mere propaganda to destroy somebody. It was never a propaganda. That is why, even though they captured Mazen Nandekano and keep him in their territory, yet in their court, they can't make headways. They can't make it. Mazen Nandekano represented absolutely the same thing today. Mazen Simon Ekpa is representing today. Mazen Simon Ekpa is representing excellently well. Even the Finland authorities are helpless in the case of Mazen Simon Ekpa. Because they touch an innocent man, they have ended up in destroying their own reputations. Finland will never remain the same. From the way they treated Mazen Simon Ekpa, Finland will never, ever remain the same. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter how they try to hide it. It doesn't matter their propaganda and their blackmail. No matter the strategy Finland apply today, they will never, ever remain the same. Because they have sold their souls and they dive into something that will consume them. For anybody that enters and share the same ideology with Nigeria, from the moment you enter into deal with Nigeria, you have shared from their cause, and the cause that is upon Nigeria will follow you. You can't escape it. You can never escape it. It doesn't matter. Go and check. Every country that have entered into deal with Nigeria, go and see how they are. You saw what happened to Kenya. After the Kenya kidnap of Mazen Nandekano, you saw what happened to them. Their country was in chaos. Their country was in a very, very, very big chaos. In a very big chaos. Unimaginable. But yet, some people continue to pretend that all is well. Until Kenya came at last and they began to take responsibility. And today, they are confessing because Kenya have confessed and finally are ready to pay for their deed. Somehow, only Chukwu Okekabema will decide whether they will recover or not. And they accepted their responsibility. And they are ready to pay compensation to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Because if they don't redeem themselves, that will mark their end. For every move you make against the children of Chukwu Okekabema, you will pay dearly. You will pay dearly. You will pay dearly. Whenever you go into deal with Nigeria against the Biafran people, you will suffer. You will suffer. And there's no two ways about it. You can never escape what will come upon you. You can't escape it. The only thing will save you is for you to walk away from that evil and do the right thing. I'm going to share some of the images that were coming out during the time. These are the different faces of the man that died in 2017. After he died, they begin to manufacture different kinds of faces. They begin to manufacture different kinds of faces. We began to see different kinds of Buharis. Maybe most of you have forgotten, but we wouldn't forget. We never forget. That is why when the time calls, we bring it out. Just watch in this screen. You will see different faces of Buhari. These are different people altogether representing him at every particular point in time. And those who were involved in that fraud, including Christians, including people who claim to be Christians. You can see different images. All these people, we are representing one man. These are different faces they use to deceive Nigerians. And while this is going on, we are always updating Nigerians, telling them, look closely, look closely. This man you are seeing is not the person you think he is. Just look at this one. Look at this one. Look at this one. One particular individual with different kinds of faces. Look at this one. These three pictures now are not the same. These three pictures you are looking here are not the same. These are different individuals, three different persons representing one man. And this happened in a country where human beings live. In a country where human beings live. At every given point in time, you see different faces. Just look at these faces. These are different people altogether. This one here is a different person. This one here is a different person. This one is a different person altogether. This one is a different person. They are different in their face, in their earlobes, in everything. They're very totally different. And if you see the way Aisha Buhari was sitting beside this man that time, you will know that he's not his husband. She's isolating herself from him. She always isolated herself and stayed distant, up to the extent that she began to go away from him completely, and she was living in Dubai. She went and began to live in Dubai while the husband was in Asorok. Remember when they had a fight in Asorok? When she was fighting with the daughter of Abakari? Because it came to a time Abakari was the person who was managing that imposter in Asorok. And Abakari was the one occupying Asorok. And when Aisha Buhari came to flex muscle, at the time she was telling Nigerians, take back your country. She even made the revelation and told them, take back your country. Nobody listened, nobody paid attention. These are different faces of the man that died in 2017. Today, that they are telling you that he's dead, which one is dead among them? Is it this one, or this one, or this one, or this one, this one? 5 different people. Which one is dead? Which one died? Which of the Buharis died? We know that the real man died in 2017. And nobody have proven otherwise up to today. Nobody have disproved it. Even when he was in hospital, they cannot even tell you the sickness, what was wrong with him. Nobody knows what he was suffering, what kind of treatment he was going for. Even up to now, nobody knows. Even this last one that they said he went to treatment and he died, nobody knows. And yet, some of them think that Biafra is your problem. Biafra is not your problem. The earlier you understand how this world operates, the better for you. And before we continue, I have to take you to what they are saying in their media. Let us look together into one of the media broadcasts in the zoo, and let's see how they narrate this case of Buhari. Let's see what the Nigerian media are saying in the death of this criminal. Let us hear what they are saying in the death of this their criminal. What do they have in mind? What are they saying? Let us listen to them closely and hear the discussion that is going on in the zoo as the man who claimed to be Buhari finally was discovered.
It's a pleasure. Yeah. Good evening. So former President Muhammadu Buhari has died at 82. How would you describe President Muhammadu Buhari's legacy, both as a military head of state in the 80s and as a democratically elected president decades?
Speaking about the man Buhari, first of all, I think the sentence is to say that it's so rest in peace and we don't comfort his family members. Just that's something to it's a loss of life that we must always stay cognizant of that and keep on assessing. Having said that, the man Buhari is something of what would I call it now? A phenomenon. I think that's what I would just use, with regards to Nigeria's story. It's been around for quite a while. Like a number of his contemporaries in the national limelight and affecting the course of Nigerian states partway through history, starting from even before his coming on board as a head of state in his first stint when he served as a minister, and before then, his role during the Civil War and all of that. I think that um, his passing should be a lesson that I think that all, especially those that are entrusted with positions of leadership, and that God has simply given the opportunity to affect the lives of others. It should be a lesson that we should not take those opportunities, those responsibilities, lightly, and that we should seek as much as possible to make the most of those opportunities. Having come, as a military head of state in 1984, yeah, early 85, before he was overthrown by Brian Babangida, the things that he did then, the jury is out, and he's
His second coming was a disaster. It is not just his second coming. Even the first time Buhari ruled Nigeria, it was a disaster. Economically, it was a disaster. But Nigerians are they like to cover things and begin to do show. The first coming was also a disaster. But at least you recognize that his second one, a complete and total, not just disaster, a confusion and the end of the zoo. He was the one that ended the Zoological Republic. Don't ever forget that. He was the one that ended the zoo finally.
And really affect Nigerian society, Nigerian citizens because of our history.
Remember what this lady said? President Buhari said his wife's place is in the other room. Was that woman really in the other room? Throughout his tenure, the woman was in Dubai. Even up to his death, the wife was in Dubai, not with him. Is her place really in the other room? You know, when they lie all this, they are lying. When they lie all this, they are lying. You wouldn't. There are so many things to prove that this man died in 2017, but yet they come and paint him what he is not. And that is why Nigeria will never ever survive, because they continue to do that even up till now. They continue to play the same script up till now.
Would you say that his success as a military leader basically was because of his deputy? Really?
I think that from my understanding of how leadership works, John Maxwell has given us this very famous refrain now that everything rises and falls on leadership. Everything, right? So it's difficult to give the glory to a second in command, or to also give the blame to a second in command. I think whatever good or whatever bad came out of that, his first coming as a military dictator was, sit squarely on his shoulders. The little successes with regards to trying to clean up the audience table, with regards to corruption, trying to engineer society and get Nigerians to behave better, had to be him. But even though it was today, they are not that executed those things, but you had to believe that it was with his active approval. And then the failings and the failures with regards to economic policy and how the economic collapsed to the extent that it gave Babangida the platform to wage another. You must also put that's where they show that, and that continued when Al then became um, the civilian president. But I think that speaking about the man, he's quite an interesting character, in so many regards. Sticks out his simplicity. The fact that, unlike most people, most former leaders, who would pursue legacy, who would pursue self-improvement, who would write books, who would go for further education, maybe additional degrees, set up foundations. You see President Olusegun Obasanjo, you can see President Jonathan, you can see all the things they're doing as individuals today. You can see Salami Abubakar, the Peace Corps, and the Peace, what's the name of that initiative, elections. Like, you see all of this, that Buhari did absolutely nothing along this lines. And I find this because he was a very simple man. And he said so himself, all he wants is to have peace and to be his council. I've seen that all in Kaduna.
Yeah. Let me
You
go
see the stupidity. A man that did not achieve anything, did not make any progress or make any attempt to make progress, they are now interpreting that as simplicity. That is the idiocy of a Nigerian man. A man that could not improve himself, could not improve another person, neither develop himself or any person, neither he never gave chance and opportunity to anybody to develop, and you are calling that simplicity. How is that simple? A man that stole huge amount of money. All those money he stole, what did he do with it? And yet, some people will come and refer to him as a simple man. How is Buhari simple? How is it simple? Look at Emefiele today languishing in jail. Emefiele is languishing in jail, all thanks to Buhari. Look at what has happened to every single individual that is attaching himself to Nigeria today, all thanks to Buhari. And yet, people will come and describe me as a simple man. He lives a simple. What simple life? Do you know how many billions of dollars that he stole? Do you know how many billions of dollars that his crown is stole? And yet, this useless analysts will come and they begin to talk rubbish about it. It is sad. This is why Nigeria will never survive, because you can never get the truth from them, including the journalists. They are part of the problem.
Interesting that you mentioned that. In fact, Garba Shehu came out to say not too long ago that the president turned down a 10 million naira budget that he'd rather have been talking about you saying, his simplicity was, out there and all of that. Now let's talk about, him being a symbol of corruption, anti-corruption, beg your pardon. In your view, though, do you think he lived up to that image throughout his political career? I'm putting at the back of your mind that he said he should fight corruption, fight that. What is it?
So that again is one of those things about Buhari that is quite just treated just the right one. On the one hand, look at the man Buhari and recognize that if you look at his life and the evidence, the things that provide evidence of affluence and wealth, he didn't have them around him. We kind of understand that he had one house and then his house in Katsina. Nobody actually over that was his fault. He never had other jobs. So you can actually say the man Buhari was making enough for long in terms of stealing from public office, right? In terms of financial corruption. However, as a result of that aura, the aura of frugality, the aura of anti-corruption, the aura of discipline, being a hard man that fights with and corruption, he came on board in 2015 and he was demystified. In 6 months to a year, he was captured by the so-called cabal, and everything that happened after that was blamed on the cabal. The corruption that happened under Buhari was so tremendous that it's difficult to then absolve him of blame and say he was not the corrupt president. How can you not be a corrupt president when your ministers were making 40 billion US dollars in the Ministry of Nigerian Affairs, when your I think it was SSG at that time, was giving contracts to photographs, in Borno State, a contract that never happened. And the cases regards to his anti-corruption year, and that failure may not necessarily be because he himself was personally corrupt, but he failed as a leader. He had to. There's no other way to put it than to hang this on his shoulders and say that even though he came and anti-corruption was one of the key plans of his administration, second to the economy and security, he failed. He failed. That evidence is all out there. So we wonder what else he left because on the economy he failed. What on the security front we can say, well, Boko Haram, the end, the flaw was them to a certain regards to the security. But then we have to name and also, and we all remember what happened to the herdsmen and all of the mayhem that happened, in North Central region, Nasarawa, Borno, Plateau, Taraba, and all of those places. Insecurity actually got the highest under him. Second, ahead of what happened under President. Because you don't have an account of the number of people that were killed, number of casualties, number of kidnapping, number of incidents, right? So it's difficult to say that he did not do anything with regards to the corruption contract and he did with regards to the expectation of the section of society. The other part of the policy that he did to
Alright, so what I hear you saying is that when it comes to security, he did the best he could, right? In a while, I'm going to take you back to his economic policies, especially during the recession and the COVID-19 period, and also the signing of the PIB into law, right? But there was something you said earlier on that I wanted to draw your attention. You talked about his wings being clipped by the cabal. In fact, his wife, Aisha Buhari, came out to say the cabal had caged her husband and all of that. Now, that was just something else that had the nation talking. Another thing that had the nation talking actually was allegations that he was cloned, that the president was no longer the president, that he was real. Done. And that got traction, I'm telling you. I don't know if you were one of those people that believed that really was true.
There are some of those things I think that simply the realms of Twilight Zone, Fantasy Island, and conspiracy theories. Because it's not something that I took seriously. It made no sense to me. Can't blow the man, everybody doesn't exist. And even if you then want to talk about the body law, right? Let's assume that we're not talking about clothing an actual man, we're talking about the body law. Then the size of the conspiracy that would be required to keep silent the fact that the man who already had died and the person was the guy who was revealed from Sudan, the conspiracy levels would be literally impossible. You can see what is happening today and it happened under Buhari as well, where simple memos, simple interactions between ministers and their councils, between councils and the directors down the rank and file in the public service. Memos get leaked. How can you keep secrets in fact that the human being that was sitting in that was not the same person that put them home? Those ideas are absolutely ridiculous and I don't think we should give them any kind of evidence, any kind of conversation. The evidence, to suggest otherwise is abundant. And I think we have to listen to that.
Very
important rabbit hole that can come out of.
That is very well said. Now, I told you I was going to talk about his economic policies again. So, especially during the recession and COVID-19 period, like I said, these drew mixed reactions, right? So, my question to you is, what impact did this administration have on Nigeria's economic stability and growth, especially during this very tough period? Also, if you mention, I don't know if you were impressed by his and
First of all, so let's start from the PIP that's now an act. Yes, it was something that had been in the office that had been circles of power in the conversation from I think 7th assembly, if not the 6th. But eventually under his administration was passed into law. So we will take that as a win. But for me, as an individual, as particular as a watcher of the economy,
So I just brought this up to refresh our memory when we come about. And when you look at these very people in Nigerian media, they will never change. You see why everybody must focus on restoration of Biafra. These people will never change. They will continue to carry their lies to their grave. Nigerian media, they will never ever change. They will continue to speak their lies. They will continue to promote their lie. They will continue to promote falsehood and continue to deceive their people. That is why Nigeria will never get better. And I thank Chukwu Okike that Biafrans have discovered this earlier on before now. And because of that, Biafrans walked away from the Zoological Republic. And nothing will make us go back. Nothing. Absolutely nothing will make us go back. We have left the zoo, and we have left the zoo for good, and there is no going back. So I would also like you to see some of the reactions that is coming from the death of the late Muhammad Buhari. Some of the reactions we are seeing that are coming. I would like us to listen to this very one. Among the reactions that are coming, let us listen to this very one and hear what it says. These are some of the reactions that is coming from people. Many people are reacting. Many are saying their own views.
So in the midst of this morning, let us
the way they want.
who died.
So I want us to listen to this very reaction. You know, Nigerians, they will always make a thing out of everything that happens. They will always key into it. Some of them will take it as a joke. Some of them will be telling their truth indirectly, because in Nigeria, if you tell the truth, you are gone. So I want us to listen to this reaction from this woman.
So in the midst of this morning, let us understand who died. Najibri died and Abina Buhari died. Only 4 years. 4 whole years. Now they traumatize us. Jibri versus Buhari. So where Aisha Buhari now, let's see how come and tell her. Be like say, that the only person who will tell us the truth when it concerns federal matter. Now Jibri with the man now, Abina Buhari. We don't want a session where to work. They come and tell us that it is Jibri that died. Buhari is still in London. Let us know. Nothing when penny pass is that say in a private hospital. Do you know the amount of money that has gone down? As a former president, you still in Nigeria that will be responsible. Or our money where they did Buhari hand. Now they take back. Politicians, yes, they would not do well. As you want to my papa, you have seen it now. Do well, infrastructure. Whether Nigeria have been a Buhari, that is the only question I have in this video. The only president that will do is doing well is the president that will do the infrastructure. The rate at which we travel for medical is too much. We cannot even trust our own medical system. We cannot trust our medical system for anything. Now they carry this man go right up. I can imagine the money in bonus. God, Shesi Naira, I can imagine. And I will make sure that I investigate your situation about 5. Let me get the copy of how much when they spent. They siphon us for this country. According to one former minister, no one mentioned him. He said we are always shouting about what is wrong, what is spoiled. That if only we know what is wrong, the old minister, now he talking for me. He said he always speaks in the way of shouting. That if we know what is wrong, then we will know.
A very good question. Who are you mourning? Are you mourning Jibril or are you mourning Buhari? That is the question of this woman. A legitimate question that must be answered. Because just like my brother wrote here, maybe the third one that would die, the third time now another person will die. The third time Muhammad Jibril would die. Abubakar Shekau would die. Who is the one that died? And they are not even talking about the money they are spending to cover this very propaganda. If you are told the amount Nigeria spend to cover this very lie up, the money they paid to cover this very lie, look at a private hospital, that was where he went to take care of himself. Do you know how much they will pay to cover up this lie? Do you know how much they will pay to cover this lie up for more than 10 years now. For more than 10 years. For more than 10 years, they have continued to pay the British government, the hospital themselves, individuals to cover up this lie, the press, not to investigate this very issue. And they have kept it secret. But I believe one day is one day. The same way they have ended that movie, the next chapter of the movie will be the revelation. The last part of the movie, the death of the death of the masquerade. After the death of the masquerade, we will enter into the revelation. We will be here and we'll be watching until they play the last one. After this final stage, the revelation will start. And we believe we must hear it. There's another one that caught my attention. Sunday Igboho also made a comment. Most of us must have seen it. If you have not seen it, let us play the reaction of Sunday Igboho. What does Sunday Igboho has to say? Let us see the reaction of Sunday Igboho, what he has to say. Sunday Igboho has something to say. Let's hear Sunday Igboho, what he has to say.
Why you don't die? See life. See life. Why the criminal man that sent the SS and military woman kill you even tonight? You are fault to die. See life. My people are supposed to learn about this. That criminal man, Wali Muhammad Buhari, don't die. See, I'm alive today. I thank God. God, thank you for my life today. Criminal Fulani man that is with some Yoruba, with some stupid Yoruba people that can't call and come to my house, middle in the night. They tried to take my life. But God said no. If God said yes, nobody can say no. God said no. See life. You don't die today. Thank God. God, I thank you.
That was Sunday Igboho speaking. Sunday Igboho speaking, thanking God for Jubril that wanted to take his life. When they switched over to Jubril, they wanted to use that title, Jubril, in the name of Buhari, to take his life. And he's thanking God that he survived. He's thanking God. And we have to go again to the revelation of our supreme leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, when he revealed the evil of this very man. The evil of this very man.